Hello, I hope you're well. I thought as a storyteller, today I would tell you a story. And I think it's a story that sort of highlights our potential, or whether we're living up to our potential. Well, I'll tell it to you and we can think about it afterwards. Okay, there was a man and he was on his way home when he found an egg. It was an eagle's egg. But the man did not know his eggs from his eggs, and he did not know this was an eagle's egg. But he picked it up and took it home, and he put it in his backyard with his hens. And there it nestled among the hens' legs, and they sat on the egg as with the others, and kept it warm until it hatched. So our eagle hatched out of his egg, and spent his time with all the chicks from the chickens. And that's how he spent his days, following the chickens and doing what the chickens did. He would scratch with his claws in the mud and turn up juicy worms and insects to eat. He would walk around the yard and shake his wings and clack like a chicken. And he would flap his wings and take off about a metre into the air and then drop down a moment later, as chickens do. And so our eagle lived as a chicken. But one day, he was in the yard and he looked up into the sky, into the blue sky, and he saw soaring far above his head the most magnificent bird he had ever seen. Oh, what a vast wingspan! How majestic! He turned to his neighbour, the chicken, next to him and said, "My friend, tell me, what is this magnificent bird soaring far above our heads?" And the chicken looked at him and said, "That, my friend, is an eagle, the king of the birds. But you do not need to concern yourself with the eagle, for the eagle is a bird of the sky, and we are but chickens, and we are birds of the earth." And so, with one last longing look up to the sky, the chicken, the eagle, looked back down to the ground, and he began to scratch with his claws into the mud and turn up juicy worms and insects. He began to shake his wings and cluck and clack like a chicken. And he'd shake his wings and fly about a metre or so off the ground and land just a short time later. And so our eagle lived and died as a chicken. So I think I read so many stories, and maybe I read 30 stories and 29 of those stories just sort of wash straight over me. And there's always one that hooks in for some reason. And I think it's really connected with that, with the sort of journey I've been on and the journey that I explore through Ministry of Change. And it's really about finding our potential. And how many times do we live as chickens and forget or ignore our inner eagles? When was the last time you had a dream and somebody else told you that it was unrealistic or that you shouldn't follow it and kept you down on the ground when really you were meant to soar? But I think what I thought was most important of all is the most chickeny chicken of all is the chicken in here. The chicken that's constantly telling you the things that you can't do and the things that you can do. And sometimes, or often, how do you go beyond your inner chicken and allow your eagle to fly? That's a good question.